back to the garage. We're going to get back on this engine again. Going to get it cleaned up just a little bit more. Going to start putting gaskets on it. Hopefully at least get it in some of that high heat primer today. Got you set up over there. I'm going to use an air tool today, make it a little bit easier. All these bolts on the oil pan are the same size. They're 10 millimeter, and the ones on the back for the rear main seal are a 5/16. So I'm going to get you set up over there. We'll get to it. To show these bolts a little bit better. There's 6 5/16 bolts that hold on the rear main seal housing, and there's 34 that hold on the oil pan to the block. But there's 6 of them that are shorter. They're all 10 millimeter, but the 6 shorter ones go into the timing cover on the front of the engine. So don't mistake one of these for one that goes on the side of the block. These go up the side of the block. You can see them sticking through a little bit if you look down at your engine. But they're all 10 millimeters, but there is a difference in them, so I want to go over that and show you. And there's also 2 half-inch bolts that go down the driver's side, it would be, of the engine. And this holds on a bracket for the transmission line, so just in case anybody was wondering. kind of skipping ahead. The regular video isn't over yet, but I wanted to throw this in there and say thank you for watching this video. I know it's not the most entertaining thing in the world. It's kind of boring, but it's still something, like I said in the last video, that has to be done. Not very exciting, but the further the project goes along, things will get more exciting, like when the engine and transmission is going back in the truck, cab's going back on. That'll be a lot better video than kind of the boring getting stuff painted and cleaned up. But I also wanted to go over something very interesting that I found in the oil pan of this engine. First off, I wanted to explain this is not really a step-by-step channel. I'm just kind of taking you along for the ride and showing you how this project is getting accomplished. There's a lot of great channels out there that do step-by-step instructions on how to install these gaskets, what to torque the bolts down to. You know, I'm not that guy. I never will be on this channel. I'm just taking you along for the ride, and hopefully it's entertaining. But I wanted to show you what I found in the oil pan whenever I drained the oil out of it and I started cleaning. This is the killer dowel pen that everybody talks about in these engines. Now you can see there's all kinds of marks on there from where it fell into the teeth on this engine. What it does is this dowel pen sits on the front of the block and it aligns the timing case to the engine while they put the bolts in at the factory. And what this can do is, over time of the truck running and the engine idling, this will vibrate out and fall down into the timing gears on the motor, and in rare cases it can actually move in between two of the gears and lock the engine up. I think that's a pretty rare case, like I said. But what naturally happens is, what usually happens, this falls down, rotates around one of the timing gears, and gets caught in between the gear itself and the case, and that is a chunk of the case. You can see the threads in it, and you can also see where it's had some teeth marks where this thing's been kind of chewed up. When I pulled the timing case off the front of the engine, I didn't see any chips in the teeth, anything like that. There wasn't a chunk busted off of the timing case. So what I assume happened was this fell out whenever the previous owner had the truck. They took it to a shop, diagnosed what it was, and rather than pulling the engine completely out of the truck to get the debris out, they pulled the cam out of the engine, put a new timing cover on, put the engine back together, and that's all that came of it. Luckily, this couldn't go through the screen or anything in the pickup tube. Like I said, this engine ran fantastic, didn't have any blow-by, anything like that, so it's just crazy to see that this timing pin actually fell out of the front of this engine and didn't cause a lot more damage. Alright, I wanted to go over this gasket a little bit and show you guys better close-up. You can see maybe if the GoPro's picking that up. It says front. There's also a spot in the middle on the bottom of this gasket where it says forward. So make sure this arrow is facing forward. This is facing front. This gasket's thicker on the back, and it also has these ribs sticking up. So the thicker side of the gasket with the ribs sticking up is the side that goes to the block. Make sure you don't put this gasket on wrong, or you'll have horrible oil leaks, and that's probably after you get your injection pump back on. So figured I want to go over that and show you the right way to put this on. Alright, this donor engine is finally starting to take shape and finally look like something. Got the gaskets on, engine sprayed down in some high heat primer. The next video will probably be cleaning the top half of the engine, putting the new valve cover gaskets on, putting primer on it, and then finally painting the engine. But thank you very much for watching the video. If you would also check out my buddies at Central Oregon Shenanigans and the Fox Shop. Their channel links will be in the video description below. But give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, leave a comment down below, consider subscribing if this is the kind of content that you're into. And just a friendly reminder that it doesn't matter if you're working on your project in a garage or in your driveway. What matters is that you go out there, you do the job yourself, and you learn more about your project, whatever that project may be. Now that this video is over, how about you go outside and work on something? My name is Zane, and I'll catch you next time.